Retro Game Master.
今回挑戦するソフトはこれですね。スーパーファンタジーゾーン。シューティングですね。
Today, the Kacho takes on Super Fantasy Zone. This is one of the masterpieces of the shooting game series, Fantasy Zone. Can the Kacho defeat it and make it to the end? Let's find out. Super Fantasy Zone was the first title made for the Mega Drive. Opa Opa, the hero of this game, fights against Dark Menion's Legion invaders. In his entire life, the Kacho has never cleared a shooting game.
課長シューティングもいけんじゃないですかみたいなことかな。今の僕やったら多分いけると思いますよ。
Will this be the first shooting game he clears?
ゲームセンター CX 課長。ツインビーみたいな感じなんかな。お、コントローラーでかいな。
We are now starting to play with the Mega Drive.
あ、なんか出た。え、あ、どっちかに移動するんじゃないねやこれ。右だけに行くようにしてみようかな。
Unlike the restrictive auto-scrolling background, you have full control over where to fly.
あ、なんか出た。あ、当たった。なんか一個やっつけたら下の花びらが一個なくなってるな。
The indicator at the bottom of the screen shows how many enemy generators you destroyed.
右向いてるつもりやったのに。あ、早い。ゲームオーバー早いな。
When he restarted the game, he encountered
あ、ショップや。なんや。あ、武器買えんねや。ワイドビームとかあったら良さそうやな。
He bought a wide beam, which cost 1,000 coins, and then he bought big wings for 200 coins. Now, let's see how these weapons help.
あ、うわー楽。あー楽やわ。うわー便利になったわ。
Unlike other shooting games, Super Fantasy Zone uses the monetary concept. By collecting coins, you can purchase power-up weapons. Now the game is moving smoothly to victory. However,
あれなんでや。
he lost the effect of the wide beam.
ワイドって回数決まってんの。
The Kacho regained his power and returned to the severe battlefield. Once the player receives an attack, he loses all the equipment he had. But the Kacho returns to the shop. He wants to purchase more weapons and increase his power.
ワイド値上がりしてる。参ったな。でもアルト楽やしな。
The Kacho tries to save the use of the upgraded weapon.
あんま使わんようにしよう。
The Kacho discovers he doesn't lose the beam item based on the number of uses.
やるやんあれ。
Instead, this is determined by the length of time. Once the power gauge is out, he goes back to his basic weaponry.
あーなんかやった。あーやった。くっそあと1個やったのに。
The Kacho had a tough time going through the initial level of the game, but managed to destroy the last enemy generator.
全部やったよ。
What will happen after this?
あ、音変わった。あ危ない。危ない。危ない。うわすぐやん。
The Kacho gets defeated completely. Then,
あ、終わった。かぼちゃ強いな。
the Kacho starts from scratch and gradually gets familiar with the battle. Without missing, he destroyed the final enemy generator. He confronts the pumpkin again.
え、あ、広がんねやあれ。
The enemy boss attacks Arino by spitting a seed that splits into 8 bombs.
危ない。
Moreover,
あ、消えた。うわ消えんの1面目から。うわ全然打たれへん。あー当たった。一矢も報いてへんな。
Arino decides to go for close combat. But he can't find any lead to a victory. He loses 3 battles in a row.
くっそなんか入ってるなんかチャカチャカ言うてるなこれ
Usually, the Kacho tends to slow down at this point, but today he shows good agility.
スタープリンスやっててよかったな
Has the Kacho been practicing? We'll find out in the last boss combat.
あ消えた1面目からそんな消えるかね
The Kacho gradually damages the lantern.
危ないあいたあいた広い広い広いお金お金お金お金お金あー惜しい惜しい
Arino is fussing over money, but he cleared level 1.
あー惜しい
Now to level 2. Arino first goes to the shop. With much gold in his hands, he enjoys shopping.
レーザーも買っとこうかな
Here, the Kacho boldly purchases many weapons. And furthermore,
うわなんか魅力的なのいっぱいあるやん
the shop carries a wide selection of weapons. Then he finds
エクストラシップってなんや一機ってことかないやこんなんお金で買うもんじゃないと思うよ一機買うかな
the Kacho gets one extra ship. He decides to use laser beam as his weapon. Off he goes. The laser beam has a deadly destruction power. Arino is able to get rid of enemies. However,
あ当たった当たったどうなんの
although the shop appears immediately,
あもう一回買わなあかんのエンジン
Arino does not have enough money. He dubiously goes back to the battle.
なんや黄色いちっちゃいのスヌーピーにできそうな
Though the Kacho fights aggressively, when the remaining enemy generators reaches 3, the Kacho is defeated.
あコンティニューないねや
The game does not have a continue function. This will be a hard battle for Arino. He manages to kill the first level boss again and boosts up the power of the Opa Opa at the shop, and then does level 2 again. Using the laser beam, the Kacho plows through the stage.
そうなってきたあなくなったあー儚い
When the Kacho runs out of the laser, the level becomes more challenging.
危ない危ない危ない
He goes back to the shop and customizes his weapon.
と言って
Using the laser beam, the Kacho destroys the last enemy generator. Finally, the last boss of level 2 appears.
早く来い早く来い早く早くレーザーなくなるから早くおおおおおお
Arino attacks him with the laser beam. However,
あなくなったあこのなんか出てくるやつをやっつけなあかんのかこのベビーチョコみたいな
the Kacho focuses the attack on Baby Chocolate. Twin Bomb scores Baby Chocolate.
下行く
There is only one left.
よしいけたお金お金金金金金金金金金
The Kacho completes level 2. Level 3. Arino first goes to the shop. The price of weapons is gradually increasing.
値上がんねや
The Kacho shells out good money for weapons to power up Opa Opa, but once he gets defeated, the power level goes down.
おー近い初期化すんの早いな
Despite his hard work, it's game over.
また一からか
Each time he makes progress, he is taken back to level 1. It is tough for Arino. The Cacho purchased heavy bombs to equip for the battle in level 2. And the Cacho expects to give major damage to the stage 2 boss.
なんやねんそうやって落ちんの
The shop doesn't show up anymore.
あ
Weakened Opa Opa is no match for the boss. Within seconds, it's game over.
一気死んだらもうそんなんなるもんな
The Cacho restarted from level 1 several times, and after 40 minutes, he finally gets to battle the boss of level 3. Can he make it through?
うわ5月や
A gigantic carp appears.
絶対でっかいの吐きよるよあ吸うてる吸うてる吸うてる吸われてる吸われてる風吹いてるあいつ吸いよる
The level 3 boss is Puka, a powerful enemy who tries to swallow Opa Opa by opening his mouth.
吸う感じって伝われへんのにな
Opa Opa is deprived of its control power. It is hard to take out a weapon. Dead. It is game over.
あいつ吸いよんねんなあ終わった
20 minutes later, Arino arrives to the final battle of Stage 3. When Puka opens his mouth, it's a chance for Opa Opa to attack. However,
全然動かれへん
Opa Opa comes down to one ship. Here, Arino maintains a certain distance and gradually damages Puka.
危ない食べられるまた
A long, drawn-out battle. But Puka's color is changing. This is the time to hang on.
色変わってる危ない危ない危ない指痛い赤いのになどっからあいつ弾出してるの危ない近い近い近い近い近い近いあいけたお金お金お金金金金金金金金急げ急げあ
He passed level 3.
何
Without any break, Opa Opa enters into level 4.
何や暗い
The Cacho gets into the shop and checks the weapons.
これでライトを買っとけってことか
The Cacho purchases super lights because level 4 is dark, and though it is expensive, he buys an extra ship. Now he goes to level 4.
あそれでもちっちゃい危ないあ全然見えへんやん一気買っといてよかったな
The effect of the super lights runs out. The battle is hard with limited vision.
うわ終わったコンティニューみたいなのないのかなそんな悪い世界じゃなさそうやけどなこれ
Arino has to start from level 1 again. The path is long. After this, Arino doesn't show much progress and gets into his familiar stagnation mode.
危ない座れた参ったな一旦酒飲むかなあかんよな
Arino decides to check out presents from the fans.
もう何やこれもう秋葉やからって言うて課長似合うかなお違うと思うけどな課長はどんどん違うとこ行ってるような気がするな
There is a present which gives comfort to the Cacho's well-being. Here's the product.
あ入浴剤や薬用入浴剤とかいっぱいあったでも肝心な湯がないねんな入りたいな続きやるか
The Cacho pushes himself to continue playing the game. the Kacho gets the special weapon called Thunderbolt. What power can we expect from this weapon? It had an immediate effect. The key to get through a level is to find the proper weapons for the battle. Then what would be the ideal weapon for the boss enemy of level 3? Arino decides to use Backfire, which is a blast of flame launched from behind the ship. Will this weapon be effective against the nemesis Puka? It's a clean hit. This is the chance to get him. The Kacho missed the critical chance to kill the enemy. Unfortunately, the game is over again. The Kacho got stuck for 3 hours. Then,
一面を何度もやられてるので、ちょっとやり直しづらいか飽きてこないかなと思いまして。
飽きるよ。昼過ぎには飽きてたよ。
ちょっと気分転換されるかなと思いまして。
お、玉毛行く？何
Tsuruoka's offer is a breath of fresh air for the Kacho, who is weary of the game.
ボタン全部同時に押すんですけど。
What will happen?
あ、なんかちょっと音違うな。
最初の、普通のファンタジーゾーンの音楽になったんです。
普通のスーパーじゃない。
はい。
ファンタジーゾーンの音楽に変わって、気分転換してもう一度続けてください。はい。
The Kacho gets a good old Fantasy Zone soundtrack to refresh himself.
お前音変わったな。でも俺ファンタジーゾーンやってへんからな。そんなに俺音楽に興味なかったはずやけどな。
Now that the Kacho got a break, can he make some progress? The first Fantasy Zone soundtrack gives the Kacho a change of pace.
ノーミスできたね。
Nemesis Puka. Will the Kacho be able to launch Backfire?
座れるところ怖いや。これでいきたいね。
He has a great chance to win. Can he clear level 3 at last?
あ、反対向いた。もう課長。だった。もう動揺しすぎや課長。赤になったらもうがぜん緊張するもんね。
Once he loses Backfire, all his ships are destroyed within a minute.
これはもうなんか無理な気がするな。
Since Arino is repeatedly thrown back to level 1, he finally loses his drive. So,
技があるんですけれども、やってみますか。
禁断やったらいいよ。いいよ、やるよ。じゃあ禁断の技する。
what could the forbidden trick be? First, he connects the second controller. While the screen is on pause, he inputs a certain command.
通行の左下を押して、でスタートボタンを押しながら、A を押すんですけど。
何
か変わってないですか。
あ、湖の水がちょっと減った。お、金
What a surprise! The gold coins reach the maximum amount. It is indeed a forbidden trick. But the Kacho says,
僕こんなにいらんよ。
this is the best trick to break through the stagnation. Arino purchases all the extra ships he can.
10いけへん。
However, he cannot get more than 9 ships. After this, heavily equipped Arino gets back into the game and arrives to level 3. He breezes through.
緊張感ないなこれ。
But that is Arino, who is stuck at the level of manager.
調子に乗りすぎたな。
When Opa Opa gets hit by the boss, the shop will not appear. so he has to fight with a default mode.
あれ当たるか
After this, the Kacho loses the battle. And finally,
まさか金やないな
despite what he says, money makes the battle easier. Arino drops 3 thunderbolts in a row.
金やなやっぱ世の中
The Kacho is absolutely unstoppable. He reaches level 3 and is now about to face the enemy boss. Yes, the Kacho has to be on guard.
言うたやん緊張感って金があると目先のミサイル見えへんか
The Kacho is back to the default settings again. Will the Kacho lose the battle again? But when he starts using the last ship he has, things start to change.
やばいここから緊張して
The Kacho is filled with tension. He damages Puka.
よしいけたよかった
The Kacho finally moves onto level 4. The Kacho immediately purchases extra ships. Intensely equipped Arino plows through level 4. But when there is only one energy generator left,
弾飛んでたんか
but no worries.
あったよかった
The shop appears immediately. The Kacho gets an extra ship again and buys as many items as possible for the upcoming final battle with the enemy boss. Will he make it?
何
He cannot do any damage to the boss.
あは当たんねやどうしたらいいのこいつ
Opa Opa powers down in a second.
あれあちっちゃいの飛んでんのかもうジジイには見えへん弾やであれ
Arino can hardly see the bullet the enemy is firing. He has had a hard time dodging bullets.
ちっちゃいな
And the only part of the enemy he can damage is the head.
当たった
When there is no special weapon, the Kacho doesn't have a chance to win. Again, the Kacho is quickly defeated. Game over.
金あるからっていけるもんでもないな
But in order to go to the ending, this forbidden trick is a must-have.
35で裏技使って現金増やすと思えんかったな
The key to clearing this level is to destroy Puka when Puka is in the first ship that is fully equipped with powered-up weapons. There is no chance to win with the default setting. Without powered-up weapons, only a game over can be expected.
参ったな
This game is more nerve-wracking than other shooting games. The Kacho has to relentlessly start over the game. At level 4, what the Kacho chooses for the enemy boss battle is
ボコンボコン落とすか
heavy bombs. Will his decision turn into a blessing or a disaster? The enemy turns red immediately. The heavy bomb's power is not to be underestimated.
おおいけたうわ早い
Good choice of weapon. The Kacho cleared level 4. Level 5. Just like the other levels, the early stage of a battle is an easy one. What kind of an enemy boss can he expect this time?
うわやった当たった
The boss for this level is 2 stone heads whose movements are random. The Kacho cannot figure out how to damage them.
どうしたもんかなこれおお
Without getting any clue, it is now game over.
一回死ぬとどうもしようがないねんな。
The Kacho restarts the game and challenges the boss enemy again. The first ship, which is heavily equipped with weapons, is the only chance to get the boss.
あ、しまった。
エンジンが良すぎるな。
This is the enemy you cannot defeat using default weapons. This is his 20th consecutive loss in the battle.
参ったな。
This is a long, drawn-out battle which exhausts the Kacho. So here comes the AD.
お湯を入れたので、さっきの入浴剤でちょっとその疲れた手を癒されたらどうかなと思うんですけど。
手を？足湯とか俺聞いたことあるけど、手を
？Using the bath salts, which was a gift from a fan, he dips his weary hands instead of his feet.
手紙のフィンガーボールやんこれ。
Furthermore, Arino gets another present.
いろいろなものを送ってきてるみたいです。
蒸気でアイマスク。
はい。これどうしますか。
じゃあそれやろうかな。
はい。
Arino wears the eye mask, which steams up the eyes and eases the stress.
わ、なんかぬくい。何これ。うわ、ぬくい、なんかぬくい。でこ冷たいのに目ぬくい。
5分から10分暖かさが続きます。じゃあ5分失礼いたします。
失礼いたします。あ、つろが
5分経ちました。
あ、ほんま。
はい。疲れは取れたんじゃないですか。
うん、取れたと思う。
あ、本当ですか。
うん、嘘やけど取れたとしとくわ。
Relaxation time is over. The Kacho is fully equipped and ready to go. The game starts again. We were expecting Arino to be relaxed. However, after this, the Kacho faces an uphill battle. He is still figuring out what the key is to destroying these enemies.
もうダメな時間が進んできたよ。
Arino loses against the Stoneheads 50 times. There's nothing he can do. The Kacho goes back and forth between level 1 and level 5. Here, all we can do is watch over him, believing in his game skills. This is his 51st battle.
長かったな。
The Kacho finally conquers level 5. Now to level 6. Arino selects Smart Bomb as his upgraded weapon. However, this was a completely wrong choice of weapon. Smart Bomb was only useful to get rid of tiny enemies.
何も出へん。何も出てへん。何も出てへん。
The Kacho tries hard to attack using the twin shot, but the Kacho is bombed. Losing his powered-up weapons, there is no chance to win. Another bitter game over.
長いな。
Then Arino utters,
やっぱシューティング向いてへんのちゃうかな。
but this is the place to stand firm. 20 minutes later, the Kacho is back to level 5's final battle.
スペシャルない。いけた。
おかしいな、一回クリアしてんのに。いかにこの課長信用されてないかっていう感じやな。
Now to level 6. This time, the Kacho chooses Ultra Bomb. He goes to the boss battle.
またね。
As Arino figured, the power of special weapons is enormous.
お、いけた。ああ、いけた。あっさりいけた。これあっさりいけましたよ。よし。
Level 7. When the Kacho gets tired of a battle against tiny enemies,
あ、もう死んでまえ。汚い勝ち方でいこう。今日僕勝ちに行きます。
Who is the boss waiting for this man?
うわーでかいあなんかちっちゃなったおお危ない危ないたまらなかったあーすみませんなくなった何やこれ
Level 7 clear. The Cacho finally reaches the final level. He is automatically led to the shop.
なんで店入んの
The Cacho starts buying as many items as he can.
なんかあんねやろな
What is going to happen now?
あービームが忘れたあービーム忘れた
What appeared was a boss character from level 1.
あ消えてるやん
Though he kills the boss without any problems, the battle continues.
ど
Yes! In the final level, all the boss characters from the past levels return. Here, the Cacho kills the enemy in a calm manner. However, in the following battle with Puka, Arino loses by a hair.
やばいお店行けるかなああげた
Fortunately, the shop screen appeared. Extra ships are available, so there is no concern of another game over.
そうかほんまやったらこれ金なかったらえらいことになってたのか金持ちでよかったな
Using his money effectively, the Cacho quickly destroys level 7's boss. Finally, the Cacho will face the last boss. The final enemy is about to reveal himself.
オパオパやんあー来た来た
Arino instantly gets killed by giant Opa Opa. Then,
おおショップなしやショップなし
you cannot buy an ending scene with money. The Cacho again loses the battle with giant Opa Opa. Furthermore, the Cacho receives a relentless attack.
びっくりした何トンやねんあれ
As we see, it is like a child fighting against a grown-up. Giant Opa Opa shows its enormous power. The Cacho has one ship left. He fiercely defends himself, but
あなんだくそ
though he fought bravely, those cruel words pop up on the screen.
なんとか左押してスタートとかになれへんかな
No, you can't. The Cacho has to start from level 1. And after this, the Cacho will suffer from something he did not expect. Taking time, the Cacho gets to level 7. But he brings about the worst scenario, the game over. And this nightmare,
あ当たるか
repeated twice.
あった
This is the agony of not having the continue function. The Cacho struggles. He struggles and struggles. And finally, after 2 hours,
怖いかかったな
this is the second time he is in the final level. On the way, the battle is easy, since he can go to the shop. The Cacho decides to save his special weapon for the enemy boss and destroys the Ammonite boss.
よしよし
This powered-up ship is the only chance to win.
これで下に行ってあいけた
Arino destroyed giant Opa Opa. However,
あなんか来た
unexpected scenario in this type of game, the enemy mutates.
なんかちっちゃいの来たあ外れたうわーねこれ当たったあー死ぬか
After the boss character mutates, the second battle begins.
あの丸いのに入ったら全然なんか動かれへんな。
Arino avoids the ring area and manages to get closer to the enemy. He tries to attack.
逃げてる逃げてる逃げてる逃げてんねん逃げてんねん。危ない危ない危ない。
He gets into a long, drawn-out war.
重い重い重い重い重い重い重い。
However, all he can do is defend himself. He can hardly damage the enemy.
重い重い重い重い重い重い重い重い。
It is extremely hard to avoid the enemy, which keeps on bouncing around all over the place. Furthermore, the Kacho's attack doesn't affect the enemy at all.
ああ、ゲームオーバーか。
Again, the Kacho has to take the long path, but he is one step away from the finishing line. The Kacho turns on all his energy. 1 hour later, he gets into a third battle with the final boss. However,
これがラストチャンスです。
嘘。そうか、最後ですか。
13 hours have passed since he started challenging the game. This will be his final battle. The most critical battle is when Arino is in the first ship, which is fully equipped.
今ね、カメラのこっち側でこうなってるんですよ。みんなガクーンって。その気持ち、僕わかるな。ここまでいいかな。
The important thing is to not lose hope and to keep on fighting the battle.
ここはね、ここはいけるんですよ。いけんねんいけんねんな。この面は多分いけんねんな。
Kacho is confident because he found a pattern in the enemy's attack.
あ、しまった。近すぎた。
Though he is back to the default armor, all he has to do is repeat the same attack without getting distracted. And finally, the Kacho's patience pays off. Having his senses more acute, miracles happen. Can the Kacho see through the boss's attack pattern again?
いけそうやねんな。
The Kacho is unusually confident. He steadily damages the enemy.
こうなってくるとニヤニヤして負けてまうねんな。ああ、今向こうでこうなってます。
The morphed enemy boss does not have a particular pattern in its movement, so Arino needs to make a fast decision and act quickly. When Arino gets into the circle area, his movement will be restricted. The Kacho fiercely fights against the enemy, but he cannot run faster than this to avoid the attack.
おお、来たラスト。
This is his last remaining ship. Will the miracle happen?
惜しいな。いけそうやのにな。
Arino's weak area, shooting games. He was unable to conquer it. The ending scene of Super Fantasy Zone, which AD Soroka got to, is the following. Thanks to the most powerful space warrior, Opa Opa, the ardent desire of Dark Master is turned into dust. However, Dark Master said to Opa Opa at the end, "Your enemies are not all visible.